Hey guys, welcome back to the Green Lantern review, the supplemental, because Sandalphon has more stuff he wants to bitch about, and
Yes.
I don't blame him, because we certainly didn't cover everything that went wrong with this movie, so
I'm gonna
feel free to go off on.
I'm gonna make up for not barely saying anything during the actual review, our actual vlog review of it, cause I'm still kind of just in shock. But I could almost tear this movie open from start to finish, because I read the Green Lantern comics now, and I'm pretty familiar with most of the things that they're trying to convey through this movie.
Yep.
But they just don't do it very well.
You are far more knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah. Let's see, where should I start? I guess right off the bat, the very beginning of the movie opens up with kind of a backstory of what the deal with the Green Lanterns are. They're space cops that have magic rings that can make things, anything in their imagination, in green light constructs. And one of them, Abin Sur, is the best of them all. And that's accurate. That's how Green Lantern basically starts up. And then it goes on how he captured an evil entity called Parallax and sealed it on the dead planet Riot in a sector of space that even the Green Lanterns don't visit because it's supposed to be empty. Which is why there's 3 astronauts there exploring the planet.
And they just fall right
and they
through the ceiling.
they just fall through like this dead spot of Earth into the cavern where Parallax is, and his head is exposed out of this crystal wall he's locked in. That's some damn good prison making, Abin Sur. And immediately he opens his eyes and, I can sense your fear. And then he swallows their souls. And something
Which
about...
looked really cheesy.
It looked really bad. It looked worse than, like, Mortal Kombat from way back in the day. And then he escapes, because it just takes 3 to get him out of prison. And
yes, because the almighty Abin Sur can construct a crystalline wall pretty much out of nothing, I'm assuming. And yet, yes,
I think
it's broken by just a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, it must have been cubic zirconium. I didn't know Green Lantern could run on a budget. But
diamonds, we don't have enough money for that. Warner Brothers isn't made of money.
Yeah.
We'll use cubic zirconium. we gotta help them save some of that sweet, sweet Batman money.
Yeah. And something they say later makes it seem like those 3 astronauts were Green Lanterns. And 1, why were they wearing spacesuits if they're Green Lanterns? And 2, what are they doing there if they're Green Lanterns?
Yeah,
and that sector is off limits.
I forgot about that. That's right, because they're like, yeah, they killed 3 of our men.
Yeah.
Later when they're on the Green Lantern planet. And I'm like, so what? And
if they weren't Green Lanterns, then that means he kills 3 Green Lanterns off panel, and that's almost even worse. Alright, so...
I'm enjoying this. Go ahead.
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
So, Parallax flies off into space, and he starts absorbing more people's souls, and he turns into his giant space squid mode. And
is that an actual mode of his? Like, does he actually look like that in the comics?
No, he always looks like a giant horrible space bug. A giant golden space bug.
Okay. So they got the main villain wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how Jeff Johns allowed that.
So we're gonna take this guy who's usually a giant bug and make him a giant cloud. Is that okay with you? I don't think so. Screw you.
I don't know.
Green light.
Yeah, that was another thing that reminded me of Fantastic Four 2, because that's what they did with Galactus. They turned him into a giant...
Did they?
Yeah.
The big, like, tall tower-like guy with the cool helmet?
Yes. How did you not hear about that, at any rate?
Honestly,
they take Galactus...
No. Honestly, I saw the first Fantastic Four movie, and I hated it. So I never paid any attention to the second one.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned Galactus into a giant sentient cloud.
I was busy watching movies like Cool Dimension and Vampire Girl vs. Frankenstein Girl and Machine Girl. So,
That's actually a better use of time.
Know, right? Totally.
There's going to be some new reviews up soon, I promise.
Oh yes,
okay.
New reviews coming soon, I promise.
Okay, so let's see. Then we go to Hal Jordan on the planet, and he's all right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of.
I didn't hate him. People hate him. I really don't hate him.
No,
in
I
this
don't.
movie.
No, I don't hate it. Ryan Reynolds. I think he does a decent job with the material he's given. He does a good job.
He was better than whoever played Superman in Superman Returns.
Brandon Routh. Yeah, he is better than Brandon Routh.
I thought he was far better than that. So, because like, I didn't like the backstory they gave him either.
Oh, right, Hal Jordan.
Yeah, Hal Jordan's.
Oh, well,
they were just like, oh, his dad died in a plane crash, and he was there, and it's very traumatic for him, and he became a test pilot because...
It actually makes sense in his given backstory. They just don't elaborate on it at all.
Yeah, they just say, like, he's having problems accepting it.
One thing that I had a problem with in this movie is it's not really a problem with the movie, it's more a problem with the Green Lantern origin story itself. So I guess it's not really the movie's fault, but it brings it up, so I'm going to bring it up. Why is Abin Sur the Green Lantern for Earth's sector? He's not from Earth. He's not from that sector of space. He's from Sinestro's. Him and Sinestro are from the same planet, and Sinestro is the Green Lantern for their quadrant. Why is Abin Sur the Green Lantern for the Earth quadrant? And
well, yeah, because they explained that they sent out rings to every sector to pick out the one guy from that sector who was capable of defending it.
Yeah, why is the Green Lantern not from Earth? Why is Hal Jordan the first human Green Lantern? I can get that it's because humanity is a new species, but if we're sentient now.
Well, presumably the Green Lantern Corps has existed for thousands of years.
So, it's been since like the dawn of time.
Right, right. So what I'm saying is when they sent the rings out, maybe Earth wasn't technically formed yet or whatever within the universe. Well, what works? I know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Abin Sur doesn't look that old. He's probably only like 30, unless their alien species lives for a long, long time. How is a Green Lantern not from Earth yet? We've had civilization down for basically 4,000 years now. That's enough time, I think, for a human to become a Green Lantern. And also, even that being the case, even if
this Jesus fellow, we think he deserves a ring.
Yeah. And also, that being the case, even if they don't trust humans themselves with a Green Lantern ring, why has no one ever heard of Green Lantern on Earth? Green Lanterns are supposed to be peacekeepers for their sectors of space. So how come we've never heard of Green Lantern on this planet? I mean, I guess since we've never had any space threats to us show up.
Well, see, the way I explained it away to myself was when they're on the Green Lantern's planet and Tomare tells Hal Jordan to look at the sky, he says, see all the stars you can see from your planet? The sector you control is 10 times larger than that.
Okay.
And so the way I figure is, yeah, we've never had a space emergency.
Yeah.
We've never had any reason to even suspect that they're out there. And if the sector is that large, we don't have a spaceship or a device that can go that far out there.
Yeah, well, that would be what the Green Lantern ring is for.
No, but what I'm saying is that's why we never detected them, was because no matter what we sent out into space, it never went far enough to notice anything.
All right. Well, that being the case, why has...
But you're right, that still doesn't explain why Sinestro and Abin Sur are from the same sector, and that our sector doesn't get a human or someone even from our sector.
Yeah, and even that aside, how come Abin Sur's never come to Earth before? There are stories where Green Lanterns settle political turmoils going on a planet. How come Abin Sur never came down when that whole thing with that German guy was going on? Or maybe that thing, what happened in Cuba that one time.
Or the
that got brought up in X-Men First Class?
Or the American Civil War. Now you two play nice.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to have to go all green on you.
Get on it, Jeff Johns.
Yes, have Hal Jordan stop the Civil War. I don't know how you're going to make that work, but that would be awesome.
Yes. All right.
Like an Elseworlds
tale.
Hal Jordan ends World War II.
That would be awesome. They had an Elseworlds one where he's a communist.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. They did that to Superman, too.
Yeah, it's that same story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Green Lantern Green
I am
Berets.
so much more a Marvel person, so...
Oh. All right.
You go ahead, you DC person.
Yes. All right. Another thing... I just had something. Dang it.
The whole flow... Again, like I said in the original review, this movie is so chopped together. It feels like there's a bunch of scenes that hit the cutting room floor somewhere along the way. There's scenes missing. There's certain things not explained. And for those people like you who know what's going on, you go, oh, I understand why that is. But this movie is supposed to set you up to know of the character.
I can't even imagine what this movie was like for someone who doesn't know the deal. Oh, and kudos for showing all those extra Green Lanterns that aren't from Earth for maybe 2 minutes a pop.
One giant group scene where they're all like, we will defend this planet from Parallax, and they all shoot their lasers in the sky, and you never see them.
No, they're completely useless.
Wait, the one thing I didn't mention that I absolutely loved in the movie, I hated it, but it was funny, was when he's fighting Parallax at the end, and he destroys it by driving it into a sun or something.
Yeah.
He then passes out, and Sinestro and Kilowog.
Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tomar Ray show up to catch Hal from fall. He punches him into a sun, and then Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tomar Ray show up to catch him before he falls into the sun, too. It's like, you fuckers couldn't have shown up maybe 10 minutes earlier and helped
Thanks
a little.
Thanks a lot. That's great. I'm certain next time I have a problem, I know who to call and who not to call. I'll call the police.
Yeah, once again, I thought the whole purpose of joining a gang was so you never had to fight alone again.
They just show up and they're like, good job!
Hey, buddy!
We like you now because you stopped the destruction of the universe.
Yeah, I should hope you like me now. Go fuck yourselves. I quit for reals this time.
I would have thrown the ring in their face and just gone like, I don't need this.
Give them their ring back and just float home. I don't need their crap. All right,
that was atrocious, that scene. That was like a big slap in the face.
Another thing, we brought it up in the review, but they talk about how Parallax was originally created, according to the movie, because a Guardian was they were investigating into other forms of power aside from just green energy, which represents willpower.
Which they said was the most powerful of all of them.
Which they said was the most powerful of all of the emotional forces in the universe. And Parallax is created because one of the Guardians decided to try and mine the yellow energy of fear. Why did you go right for fear? There's blue energy for hope. There's violet energy for love. There's compassion. There's rage. There's greed. You could have gone with any of those other ones. I mean, especially since blue in the comics is written as almost nothing but buff spells for Green Lanterns. And they went right for yellow.
Well, because yellow's protected by a little girl in a red dress with really long hair named Alma, who's a 14-year-old girl who just is there to scare you.
Well, she obviously is not up to code on her job, is she?
No.
Yeah.
For those of you who got the reference, congratulations.
Another thing is, I was talking in the review about how this movie has to do more than sell just Green Lantern. It's got to sell the Warner Brothers DC superhero universe in general. And for that, then, when Parallax came to Earth to try and kill everything, where's Batman? What's he doing right now?
I don't think they're connected in the same universe, though. I don't think that's what they're planning.
Well, I heard, because I feel like I heard recently that they're going to try and do a Justice League movie.
Maybe,
And
but
if they do a Justice League movie, then you can't have the Justice League without Superman or Batman. People would revolt. You would revolt.
Why is it Warner Brothers can't do a decent superhero movie that's not Batman?
I don't know.
I'm really confused about that. Like, everybody else has just as serviceable origin stories and just as serviceable villains and powers. I don't understand why exactly that would not work. Like, Batman is human. We get it. You know what? Hal Jordan's human too. Why did I not care?
Yeah.
Marvel made me care about Thor.
Yeah.
Thor, who I have no interest in and did not care about in the slightest. I went and saw that movie, and I thought it was, a good movie. Maybe not the best one they've ever made, but it was serviceable. It told a story. It was interesting, engaging, and fun to watch.
Yeah.
Was it on the same level as Iron Man? No. But I walked out of that theater, and I was like, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I saw it again with another group of friends who hadn't seen it. And I had just as much fun.
No, Thor was awesome.
You compare that to this?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to let it go that easily. I seriously want to know, what was Batman doing at the time? What was Superman doing at the time?
What was Batman going to do against a giant space
I don't know,
ghost?
just be like, Fox! Fox! This horrible giant space squid just showed up in Coast City. Do we have anything for that? Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Wayne, we just got this machine developed by the boys out back. We're not sure what it does, but whenever we turn it on, everyone in the room just gets really happy. You want to try something with that? That's fantastic, Fox! Alfred, get some experimental and some black spray paint. We're going to get our Battleite. And we're going to do something. We're going to make this shit happen.
He just happens to have a giant bat-shaped spaceship for no reason.
It's Batman. He's always got something. No, what was Superman doing at the time? It's like he's just flying around. Hey, Jimmy Olsen, did I ever show you this one trick of mine where I make a propane tank blow up by just beating off at it? Against all my better judgment, I would really like to make an afternoon of that. Just screw everything else. Show me that trick, Superman. And then they just waste an afternoon and completely miss this whole thing.
Batman and Superman are off somewhere, just kind of fighting minor crime.
Yeah.
What is this giant space ghost coming to the planet?
That's not on my...
We'll let the newbie handle it.
Yeah. Is it made of kryptonite? Not really my thing if it's not.
What? Green glowing lights over there? I think I'll stay away.
Yeah. I think I'd better avoid that.
The other thing that I don't understand is yellow is his weakness, right?
Kind of.
Yellow is Green's weakness.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's like they retconned it recently because yellow is the color for fear now. It's a retcon that's less than 6 years old almost. But that's how they're explaining it. So, it's like, when you're a new Green Lantern, you have trouble working around yellow objects, but if you learn how to get past your fear,
you're fine.
Get courage and everything, they make it this whole thing for Green Lanterns that have to learn how courage works. It's like, it's such a human concept that no one else in the universe has ever heard of, I guess.
Alright. Anything else you want to complain about?
Yes. When the...
Yes, indeed I do.
I said if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go.
This review is gonna be as long as that movie was.
Yeah. And a better way of spending your time. Alright, so when Parallax is first coming to Earth, and he's gonna destroy it because he senses Abin Sur's ring there, it's Hal Jordan. He wants to kill the last descendant of Abin Sur because he got his ring, obviously that just makes him the biggest threat.
Yeah, I never understood that. Unless he just wanted to devour the planet for power's sake.
Oh.
Because I thought
that's an idea too.
I thought that's what he was doing. Because I thought he's like, Abin Sur gave his ring away. This guy's new to this. He doesn't know how to technically fight me. I'll just go, and this will be an easy devour, and I'll get all the power I need to fight the Green Lanterns, and I'll be good. I thought that's what was going on. I didn't know it was anything like he had a beef with Abin-Sur or anything like that.
Oh.
Although I don't doubt he did. But
yeah. No, well, that's not even what my problem was. My problem was the Guardians on Oa are aware of this, and they're just willing to let Earth just completely fall to the wayside, and just they're going to bring all their Green Lanterns back to their home planet to bolster their defenses. And they're just going to completely let Earth go.
Here's the thing I never understood. If the core of their energy field is in the planet, right? That's where all their energy comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be okay to assume that one Green Lantern tapping into that power source could theoretically defend the planet?
Well, yeah, they have a thing for that. It's the Green Lantern equivalent of Parallax called Ion.
Right, where was he?
They have a Green Lantern that is a living planet that they could have thrown at him.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, they have a Green Lantern planet. It's not their home planet, it's a living planet who is a Green Lantern that they could have thrown at this thing.
Where does the ring fit?
It's just inside the Earth somewhere.
Cool.
Yes, it's a really interesting concept.
I wonder what an Earth would come up to defend itself with in terms of like forming anything out of green energy. I summon the moon.
It's a meteor shower. But no, my problem is the Guardians were completely willing to let Earth fall to the wayside almost for no reason, just because they're so afraid of having proper defense for themselves, but they won't admit it. And this whole racism thing that's kind of permeating in a thin layer of this entire movie, they never really want to come out and say it, but it's there. And the Guardians
no, they come out and say it. They're like, we don't like you because you're human. They come out and say it right away. It's not hidden, but what it is it's stupid.
Yeah.
He is a member of your goddamn group. I don't care if you don't like him. You know what?
Yeah.
The point of your group is to protect the universe.
Yeah.
If you refuse to do your goddamn job,
seriously,
and you send in the rookie to do it for you, that blew my mind. I'm like,
yeah.
I would understand if maybe they're like, we can't dedicate our entire force, but we'll give you your pick of 5.
Yeah.
And he picks, Tomar-Re, Kilowog, something to get these characters in there, because the only time they showed up. The only time you ever saw Kilowog or Tomar-Re was on the planet.
Yeah.
And Kilowog, you barely saw at all. Like, he did one little 30-second training montage where he dropped rocks on Hal Jordan, and that was it. And then he's just like, I'll be over here. And you never saw him again.
Yeah.
Maybe in group shots, but very rarely. You could have, totally gone okay, we'll give you your pick of 3. All right, I pick Sinestro, I pick Tomar-Re, and I pick Kilowog. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
I don't know. It just kind of bothered me that the Guardians were like, we'll let you go and try and stop Parallax, but we're not going to send anyone else to help you. And it's this kind of racial undercurrent that they just never came out right and said. And I kind of wish they'd been like, Hal Jordan had gone up to them and was like, Parallax is going to destroy my home planet. I wish the Guardians had come out and just said, yeah, well, fuck them. And fuck you too. I piss on your face. I would have preferred that to what they did, which was no reason at all, almost.
What did they say to him? When he went to them, he's like, you gotta help me. And they said something like...
Well, originally, they weren't even going to let him go and try and do anything. I think they were about to throw him in Green Lantern jail on their planet.
Which is a box covered in yellow dandelions.
Pretty much, yes.
I'm making that shit. And a big sunflower.
But no, then he gives them this whole spiel about courage, and then they decide they'll let him go to try and face Parallax, but they're not going to let anyone else go with him.
Why?
They don't give a reason why. That's what I'm bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's because they just want to have protection for their own planet, but it doesn't even make sense. Because if we're bringing Parallax into this at all, then that means we're going with the last 6 years of retcons that they've dragged into the Green Lantern history. And recently they brought up in the comics that the Earth was the source of life itself, and it's the home of the White Lantern, which is the thing that lets the universe be alive. And
yeah, go on. I don't read Green Lantern, so go ahead.
So, the Guardians are willing to let Parallax absorb the planet that is the source of all life in the universe itself.
Because that's a good idea.
That's a grand idea. That's smart. It's so smart, it's stupid.
Nice. I don't know. This movie is just littered with plot holes, and I mean, plot holes so large. I noticed them sitting there.
Yeah.
Usually, I have to think about it for a second and go, "Oh, wow, that's a huge plot hole. I wonder how they're going to get around that." No. The minute they're like, "We're not going to let you go and defend the planet. In fact, nobody's going to go. All right, you can go." This is a giant problem.
And then
basically, here's the thing: Warner Brothers wants to push this character. But you also have to push the side characters. Tomar-Re, Kilowog, Sinestro. Especially Sinestro. Because you have to build some kind of relationship between the two so that when he turns evil... By the way, he turns evil. Big surprise.
Shock for a guy named Sinestro.
Yep. That you have to build some kind of relationship. You have to build some kind of common ground between the two characters so that when it does happen, it's a little bit more emotional and a little bit more of a draw. Where they didn't do that. They're just like... Which, Sinestro's character was fine. But... like you're throwing away your chance to build up these side characters to make their involvement in the future movies that much more hard-hitting. It's terrible.
Oh, trust me, any Green Lantern fan in the audience was asking for that exact same thing. That's what they wanted out of this movie, probably more than Hal Jordan, was to see the supplemental alien Green Lanterns show up for a sizable role.
And instead, they didn't do anything.
Instead, 3 guys were in about 10 minutes tops of this movie, and the rest were in a scene.
Well, they had that one scene where Sinestro led like 6 Green Lanterns against Parallax.
But they
all died except Sinestro for some reason.
But they were all glowing so green you couldn't make out who it was, unless you're really keen-eyed and even nerdier than I am. And then, of course, Hal Jordan goes back to Earth and beats Parallax single-handedly.
Way too easy.
It's kind of a cool fight, but it's just, this is Fantastic Four 2 all over again, where Silver Surfer destroys Galactus with a power cosmic Kamehameha. Spoilers.
I frankly don't care.
Okay. But yeah, Hal Jordan, he does some things, like he throws a truck at Parallax and then makes a gun and blows it up
An
in his
anti-aircraft
face.
cannon, even.
Yes. And then he gets an idea that he can't beat Parallax on Earth, so he's going to fly him close to a sun so the gravity will absorb him in, and that will stop him, even though a sun is made of yellow energy. Think about it. So
It's
he
made of
flies...
plasma, though.
But it's all yellow.
That's true.
You wouldn't think it would work, but anyway, so he flies him out into space, gets behind him, and then he makes just the biggest punch he can make, and punches him into a sun. I'm not gonna lie, I thought the whole idea of him beating Parallax single-handedly was bullshit, but I thought that was kind of fun. When he just punches him into the star.
It reminded me of the end of the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
When they punch Ivan Ooze into the asteroid.
Well, not just that, they
they
knee him in the balls into an asteroid.
Yeah, they knee him in the...
Yeah.
It brought back, like, that's how cheesy this movie was. It was bringing up memories of Power Rangers. This movie felt like a really, really long episode of Power Rangers.
I think the problem was it didn't feel enough like a movie about Power Rangers. I mean, what else are the Green Lanterns, really, but Power Rangers with the same color costume and awesome powers.
Alright, anything else?
No, I think that's about everything I wanted to bring up.
Well, thanks for sitting through this whole supplemental.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you watched the initial review, you already know our thoughts on the movie. Don't go see it. Don't pay this any attention or pay it any mind at all. This movie is atrocious and should be buried along with movies like Steel and apparently Fantastic Four.
I wouldn't go as far as Steel or Fantastic Four 2, but it's only a single notch above them.
Yeah.
It's completely unacceptable.
Yes. Alright, well, as always, I'm your host, Marauder.
And I'm Sandalphon.
And we'll catch you guys later.